Die englische und deutsche Sprache funktionieren etwas anders, was Rechtschreibung und Zeichensetzung angeht. Regeln, die mal leicht und manchmal nicht ganz logisch sind. Aber mit unserer Hilfe und mit der von Sherlock Holmes lernst du ganz schnell, wie man es richtig macht. Sie geben uns ständig Rätsel auf. Komma, Bindestriche, Apostrophe. Aber ohne Zeichensetzung wirkt ein Text schnell mal unklar oder missverständlich. Deshalb gehören sie unverzichtbar dazu.
Ooh, the mysteries of punctuation. How he loved mysteries, that Sherlock Holmes. In London, there are many places that refer to his cases and adventures. I'll tell you about my Sherlock Holmes day, or even better, I'll write it down for you, with commas, apostrophes, and quotation marks. Number 1, the comma.
I've been to an exhibition about Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson today. I've seen their medical kits, journals, hats, pipes, and other possessions. But the greatest treasure is Holmes' language. Holmes says, "Elementary, my dear Watson." Well, he says it in the films and on TV, but not in the books. "The little things are infinitely the most important," he says in the books. "There is nothing more deceptive," he states, "than an obvious fact." Der Anfang ist leicht. Kommata stehen bei Aufzählungen. I've seen their medical kits, journals, hats, pipes. Aber im Englischen auch vor dem letzten und. And other possessions. Dann die Sache mit dem Zitat. Fall 1. Wenn ich es ankündige, kommt das Komma vor dem beginnenden Anführungszeichen. Holmes says, elementary. Fall 2. Wenn ich den Verfasser nachschiebe, dann innerhalb des Zitats vor dem endenden Anführungszeichen. The little things are infinitely the most important, he says. Fall 3. Wenn ich es dazwischen schiebe, dann sieht das Ganze so aus. There is nothing more deceptive, he states, than an obvious fact. Also Zitat, Komma vors Anführungszeichen, Verfasser, Komma, Zitat geht weiter. After being on today's tour, I was quite hungry. For lunch, I ate a beef sandwich at the Sherlock Holmes pub where I went afterwards. The woman who served it to me said it was a great British tradition. Sherlock, who was born and raised in Britain, had sandwiches too. They were, however, not his favourite food. He often states that he's very picky with everything he eats. Der Relativsatz. Fall 1. Wenn du den Relativsatz nicht unbedingt brauchst, dann kommt zwischen Haupt- und Nebensatz ein Komma. Beispiel: I ate at the Sherlock Holmes pub, where I went afterwards. Fall 2. Der Relativsatz ist erforderlich, um die Aussage zu verstehen. The woman who served it to me said. The woman? Welche Frau? Genau. Hier ist es nämlich wichtig, dass es die Frau war, die mir das Sandwich gebracht hat. Also kein Komma. Fall 3. Kleine Einschübe wie of course oder however stehen immer zwischen Kommata. Und zu guter Letzt das, that. Hier machen die Deutschen immer gerne Fehler. Im Deutschen steht immer ein Komma vor das und im Englischen nie. Zum Beispiel, er betont, dass er sehr wählerisch ist und he states that he's very picky.
Number 2, the hyphen.
Was wir als zusammengesetztes Wort benutzen, schreibt man im Englischen häufig mit Bindestrich. Unser Beispiel: Sherlock Holmes wird wieder mal neu verfilmt. The story centers around a smart, self-employed architect who murders his wife. The detective is a computer-generated figure called Holmes. He is quick-thinking and good-looking. A second figure functions, of course, as his well-loved assistant, Watson. The film is supposed to be an up-to-date version of a classic story. Holmes is well-loved all over the world. The books just need to be brought up to date for the younger generation. Du erkennst sicher schon die Machart. Self-employed, computer-generated, good-looking, well-loved. Das sind alles Adjektive, die aus unterschiedlichen Wortarten zusammengesetzt sind. In Fällen wie diesen Bindestrich. Aber nicht verwechseln. He is well-loved. Hier wird loved ganz normal als Verbform benutzt, die durch well näher beschrieben ist. Bei den Hauptwörtern fehlen strikte Regeln. Man kann zum Beispiel Paperclip, Paperclip oder Paperclip schreiben. Alles richtig.
Number 3, the apostrophe.
I'm drinking Sherlock's favourite tea, Lapsang Souchong, in a beautiful pub. The location is famous to Sherlock Holmes fans. I will be back in a few months' time for sure. The fans' website says there will be a big party next summer with a children's detective game and quizzes all night long. Apostrophe plus S zeigen Zugehörigkeit oder Besitz an. Sherlock's favourite tea. Da kommt im Englischen immer ein Apostroph plus S dahinter. Bei Eigennamen, die auf S enden, wie zum Beispiel Holmes, kommt immer sofort ein Apostroph. Bei Wörtern, bei denen die Pluralform schon auf S endet, wird nur ein Apostroph angehängt. The fans' website in a few months' time. I'm sure Sherlock isn't a European legend only. Arthur Conan Doyle's stories have been published all around the world. I've been reading and rereading them ever since my childhood. I've watched the movies and the BBC TV series later. The legend of Sherlock definitely owes its success to those many adaptations. It's been amazing to watch all the different approaches. Hier dient der Apostroph als Auslassungszeichen, zum Beispiel für ein oder mehrere Buchstaben. I'm für I am, I've für I have. Bei it's, also it is, wird es oft falsch gemacht. Aber eigentlich ist es ganz einfach. Man darf es nur nicht mit dem Possessivpronomen its verwechseln. So, damit haben wir schon die wichtigsten Zeichensetzungsregeln. Und jetzt nochmal die Zusammenfassung.
Commas in English are often used more to organise blocks of thought rather than following strict rules. But there are some. When making a list, commas are used to separate one item from the next, also before the final and or. Hats, pipes, and other possessions. You use commas to enclose non-defining relative clauses and other non-essential details and comments. Sherlock, who was born in Britain, liked sandwiches. However, they were not his favourite food. No comma before that. I think that's easy. We use hyphens in many compound adjectives. Computer-generated, good-looking. There are no strict rules for most compound nouns. Paperclip, paperclip, paperclip. If in doubt, use a hyphen. We use an apostrophe to show possession. Sherlock's favourite tea. If the name ends with an S, we normally just add an apostrophe. Holmes's friend Watson. If the possession relates to a plural noun that ends in S, we add an apostrophe after the S. A few months' time, the fans' website. Don't mix up its, the short form for it is, with its, the possessive pronoun.
Hello and welcome to the news. My name is Donna Newman and today we've got a fascinating story about dinosaurs. Could your dog, man's best friend, actually be half T-Rex? Stick around to find out. But first, we'll be looking at some words that have shrunk down to just a fraction of their original size. Just unbelievable.
Number 1, abbreviations with the slash.
The first set of shape-shifting words we're going to talk about today are those that have been chopped apart by the slash, reducing them from full, complete words to just 2 or sometimes even 1 letter. So what words has the slash gotten its hands on? Well, for one, it's turned the perfectly fine word with into just W slash, and without into W/O. It has taken the dignity completely away from because, turning it into just B/C, and it's reduced not applicable to a pitiful N/A, which just for fun, it decided should be written with capital letters, unlike the other slash abbreviations mentioned, which are written with lowercase ones.
Number 2, abbreviations with periods.
Another punctuation mark running wild through the English language is the period. Oh, all right, also called the full stop in British English. The period is used for all abbreviations. Oh. This just in. A breaking story on abbreviations with periods. My friends behind the scenes tell me that whether periods, or full stops, are used for abbreviations depends on if you're talking about British or American English. Let's go to Sally for the report. Thanks, Donna. So yes, whether or not a period is used in an abbreviation does depend on which English we're talking about. My sources tell me that the period has been able to infiltrate the USA much further than the UK, and the Brits are doing all they can to halt the inflow. In American English, titles before a name, such as Mr., Dr., or Miss, are abbreviated with a period. For example, Mr. Smith, Dr. Smith, or Miss Smith, whereas in the UK, these would be simply written without the full stop. Mr. Smith, Dr. Smith, and Miss Smith. Unfortunately, there's absolutely no rule for this. You just have to... Oh, wait, this just in. Apparently, there is a rule. Back to Donna for the explanation.
Number 3, periods, the rule.
Thanks, Sally. So yes, there is a rule. In American English, the period has attached itself to the abbreviated forms regardless of whether they are abbreviations formed with the first and last letter of the word, such as doctor or Mr., or formed with the first few letters of the word, like avenue, which becomes AVE, period, or formed by any other combination of letters, such as boulevard, which becomes BLVD, period. In British English, however, abbreviations written using the first and last letter of the word, such as doctor, do not have a full stop at the end. But altitude and drive, which are abbreviated using the first 3 and first 2 letters, do get a full stop.
Number 4, acronyms and initialisms.
Phrases that become shorter using the first letter of each word and can then be pronounced as a standalone word, for example, scuba, self-contained underwater breathing apparatus, are called acronyms. 2 other examples, NASA, National Aeronautics and Space Administration, and laser, light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. But hey, this is the news. It has to be short. Phrases that become shorter using the first letter of each word, but are then pronounced by saying each letter, are called initialisms, like BBC, British Broadcasting Corporation, CSI, Crime Scene Investigation, FAQ, Frequently Asked Questions. Periods are not normally used with either acronyms or initialisms in British English, and in American English, it depends on the publisher. Well, that's all we've got time for today, but before going, I'd like to leave you with this little bit of guidance. We've talked a lot about how punctuation differs in American and British English, and the most important thing is just remember to be consistent. If you're using British spelling, use British punctuation the whole way through, because with the slashes and periods running wild as they are out there, this world is chaotic enough as it is without mixing British and American English in one paper. Whew, I don't think the world is ready for that yet. From me and Sally, thanks for watching and good night.